Hello, YouTube, and welcome to my review of the 2003, or is it 2006? I probably should have looked up the date. Planetez. We're reacting to the anime series Planetez. If you're new here, welcome. I actually it is 2003. That's what I thought. Um, Yeah, if you are new here, I actually did react to the whole series, full-length reactions, on the channel if you want to check that out. Otherwise, I'm just giving my final thoughts and feelings on the series. I absolutely loved it, man. It was a wild ride, and basically it's a just brief summary. It's a light sci-fi series. I think it's 2075 about mankind's now to sort of utilize space transportation, mining the moon and shit, and it's sort of like a slice of life episodic series about the crew of the debris section of a company whose job is to pick up debris, and they're kind of like space garbage men, but obviously it's like super important because it can cause some pretty bad accidents. And it's basically, yeah, just going through their daily life, their struggles. Like any episodic show, each episode has its different plot. Though it kind of it hunkers down near like the final third of the series and becomes more streamlined. But as all episodic shows, it's more about the character growths of the reoccurring characters while having fun and interesting plots for each episode, because that's the not the problem, but the challenge with an episodic series. It has more diversity since every episode has a different plot line. But I personally think it's harder to make a really good episodic show just because you need to, instead of having like one plot that you can build over time, you have to have each one be fairly interesting, right? And I think the show did amazing at that. There's a mix of emotions throughout each episode. There's definitely some fun moments, some dramatic, intense moments, um, some love moments, lovey-dovey stuff. Like it was insanely good. I call that the roller coaster of emotions, and I love when a series can do that well. Um, like I would compare to another episodic anime, Natsume's Book of Friends, another fairly well received one. I think it's a bit more popular than this. Um, and I think that also tackles the emotional roller coaster very well. Um, and I gotta say, my favorite part of the series was definitely like the final arc. It went insanely hard. Um, you can see it building up with how the characters developed through, but oh my god, like everyone turned into the Joker, people were dying. I'm like, holy shit, nobody's safe. It was insane. From tense but somewhat happy first part to that was crazy. But I loved it. It was super intense. Character wise, I thought the main cast was pretty interesting. Obviously, Tanabe and Hachi are my favorite. They were the most highlighted characters. But Fee's goated. Yuri's pretty good too. He really came alive with that excellent episode about his backstory. Edna also got some character development that made her a better character. Um, the other two people, the boss and the Lavi, the clownster, a little, Lavi did get some development, but not my favorite characters. But they're fine. They're fine. Outside of the main cast, I love Dolph. Dolph was cool. Locksmith. Dolph and Locksmith were probably my favorite outside the main cast, like semi-reoccurring characters. Um, but man, characters were done really well. I think voice acting was really cool too. It was a pleasant surprise that Tanabe's voice actor is the same as Mion Sonozaki, my favorite character from Higurashi. So, um, kind of added to my experience of it. Soundtrack, we're listening to the soundtrack right now. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think any soundtrack really stuck with me where I remembered it forever. But just looking at this, I don't know. There's 42 different songs. Like, obviously, there's stuff you can identify. Like, the first song of this review was the prologue song and stuff. It's good. It's not an overpowering soundtrack. It's more of a blending in to the background, and it does it really well. Um, I love the relation. I love the square thing going on with Tanabe, Hachi, Chenshin, and Lucy. I thought that was great, and like just the little itty bits of it, like every episode for like what it was, a 5-6 episodes was really fun. And unlike most shows, they didn't just leave it till the end, but they got all happy. They actually settled the shit. Then it had more problems. Then they settled it at the end, at the final episode. So I thought it was a really well made, like, couples relationship drama, which is something I really look forward to. And even though, it's predictable that Hachi and Tanabe is gonna win over Chenshin and Tanabe, it still kept you at the edge of the sheet, especially after they actually got together and they faced all the problems. I love Chenshin, okay? Chenshin, like, when I say people turned into the Joker, he was, like, the first one. I don't know, he's, like, the funniest motherfucker. I guess if there's characters I don't really like, I didn't love Claire. I get her character, and this is the important part. I think it's fine not to like characters, but you have to, like, you have to understand them, because at the same time, like, this show is so great. I think I can understand people loving Claire and Hakim. Well, I didn't personally love them, just because I couldn't really relate. Well, I'm sure some people can definitely relate with them. And this show did a great job at, especially at the beginning, showing like social issues that are still pretty prevalent today. You have your episodic stuff with its own plot, and they usually intertwine their own social issue or something like that, life issue, the idea of a will, the idea of love for a job, like stuff like that. And it's honestly just like masterfully done. Also, I'm pretty sure this show is pretty realistic to space travel. Obviously, there's some sci-fi elements. It is a sci-fi show, but I call it light sci-fi since it still has like a lot of realism into it, which I think I can appreciate. Though obviously, I'm not too well informed of that sort of stuff. But man, also I love the opening, ending too. But opening is a banger. It grows on you too. Like at first, I was like, it's kind of like high mid, but by the end, I loved it, and I love the angle they did. Instead of switching this on after the next season, they just slowly changed the opening sequence to match character development. I thought was pretty smart. It's just such a well executed show. Like, I would even put it above Natsumi in terms of it being like just how it's structured, right? I know some people would say there were a couple, like, not bad episodes, but not as great as the other episodes. For me, it was only one, and it was early on with the Tanabe episode where she convinced the family, when they found a coffin of a dead astronaut in space, and she convinced the family to take him back to Earth when she was just kind of imposing her own ideals onto it, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But they really they even saved that moment, because they later addressed it when Hachi was going through his crisis, and it actually mixed quite well with Hachi's situation. So even for me, that was fine. I know some people don't like the ninja episode. Okay, I love the ninja weebs. That was a fun episode. Okay. But no, I honestly do not have much problems with the series. That the characters I dislike, I understand their motivations, or they're just evil. Like, sometimes there's just evil characters meant to be evil, but like stuff like Hakim and Claire are much more complex characters that I can appreciate. I thought the episode length was pretty good. Initially I'm like, oh, we don't get to see Jupiter, man. I just want to fuck this terrorist invasion. I just want to see Jupiter, but It's fine. It's fine. I'm super happy with, obviously the biggest character growth in my opinion is Hachi. Hachi went through a lot, and seeing, you know, from his sort of rebellious phase to his super edgy Joker phase to his now kind of self-enlightened hippie phase. It's been a ride, and following Hachi through that, you know, there's stressful times, but it is very fulfilling. This series is just excellent, literally excellent, and technically I think this will be the final anime reaction series on the channel for a while, at least for the scheduled series. So ending it off with a big bang, because this might be my favorite series that I've watched on the channel. It's a little hard because Higurashi Go was more of like an event thing where like, dude, finally Higurashi gets a sequel, even though people didn't love it. I loved it. But I think just in terms of, like, maybe not in terms of enjoyment, even though I fucking, obviously I enjoyed it, but I think just like in terms of like critically, like if I was a critic, I would actually think I would rate this the highest. And we've watched a lot of good shows. Okay, we watched Your Lie in April. We watched Violet Evergarden, Natsume's Book of Friends. But I think I prefer this. And I know this is highly regarded as an anime, but it's still kind of underrated. So I wish it would get the spotlight it deserves, because I think it's an excellent piece that people should try out. They should try out. And it might not be for everyone. Maybe I'm hyping it up too much, but this was way better than I expected. Like, I thought it was going to be good just because it got all this high praise, but it's really good. I talked about everything, right? Animation quality, it's interesting because I looked at some reviews and some people say animation's not the best, and I'll agree, it's not. You know, it's from 2003. I think it looked pretty good for the era, obviously, compared to some modern stuff, and it's not gonna look the best. But I think overall I was pretty impressed with it. It had some stylistic camera work with how they did stuff, which I always love to see, a little artistic direction. I did notice some scuffed moments, but very minimal. I like the character designs too. You could say they're a little bland, but at the same time, I think it matches well with the realistic setting they're going for, right? So I'm just extremely happy overall with the series. I don't want to give it a number rating, but I think this might be like in my top 10 anime of all time. It really is a wonderful trip. And again, if you're just watching this review and you're wondering, oh, should I give it a try? Give it a try. Well, what's the worst that can happen besides wasting your time? Because I really do think it's worth checking out. But yeah, I think that's it for me. Thank you for checking out this video. Again, you can watch the full reaction to the series on the channel. If I missed anything, or if you want me to talk about specific things about Planetes, feel free to comment them. Because all my reviews just off the cuff, right? I could miss some aspects. I try to be kind of more general and non-spoilerish, so yeah. But yeah, thanks for checking out this video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I see you again in the future. Peace.